What is going on, people? It is Stand Up Sales episode 19. We've been doing this a while. We kind of fucked up in the middle of it, and we didn't make time for it, but we're back.
We're back. We're going strong.
We're going strong. Today's topic.
Very clickbaity topic. We used vidIQ to find some information.
Just give it up. Give it up secrets. Just 3 minutes in. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's run it.
The viewers deserve to know. Yeah. When you have a lot of sales knowledge, sometimes it's hard to pick a topic, right? Randomly out of the blue. So what do the people actually want, right? So we're using data to decide what to tell you guys today. And the topic that we landed on, took a very painstaking process of finding it. Talking about outdated sales methods and the actual sales strategy that you should be using instead of your traditional, probably too much talked about sales methodology. As soon as I said it, David's eyes glimmered. So we knew it was the right one to talk about.
Yeah, mainly because we sit and shit on people with crappy sales processes all the time. So it just makes a lot of sense to kind of via negativa go back and be like, okay, what about all this stuff sucks? And then tell you never to do any of it.
Yeah, process of elimination.
100%.
So the first one I think we actually land on the same wavelength on is like the beginning of the call.
Yeah.
And like doing what people are calling
rapport building. Yeah. God, fuck off.
Trying to become friends with the prospect. There's a time and a place, but mostly the time is for not the call that you do it on.
Yeah. My whole perspective on this is, up until the prospect signs a deal, they are not your friend. They will not behave like your friend. Do not treat them like your friend. As soon as they become a client, they can become a friend. I'm friends with a lot of my clients, but I wasn't on the call. Equally, that's not an excuse to be a dickhead, but like, you just don't need to be overly friendly on calls in an attempt to make people like you and therefore buy from you.
Yeah, people do buy from people they like, but not for the reasons that you probably are trying to utilize or use in your favor. Like, how's the weather down there, Bill?
It's fucking shit and I hate it. Fuck off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they're on the call for a specific reason. It's not a connection call or a referral call, or like if you get put in touch with somebody, like a family friend, yeah, do some rapport building. But when it's a prospect who doesn't know you or their product or service, the reason they're on that call is to gain more information and seeing if this is something good for their business or good for themselves if it's B2C. Yeah. So like you need to know what their goals are of the call and align your sales process, your framework and methodology to match what the prospect wants to be on the call for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. The one thing that I teach my closers, like as soon as we start talking about the one call close and the idea that you can close people in one call for high ticket, the prospect is on the phone because there is a problem that they want solved and they think you are going to give it to them. They're not getting on calls because they have fuck all else to do.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, caveat. Some people are getting on calls because they have fuck all else to do. The people you want to be actually selling to are not.
Yeah.
So don't treat them like they have nothing better to do with their lives than sit and chat shit about you, like with you about random topics that no one cares about.
Exactly. Like think about it like you're a doctor in the ER. People are coming there to fix an inherent problem. Yeah. Like if you're gushing blood and the doctor's like, hey, so like, what do you do career-wise? You're like, dude, I'm fucking bleeding.
Focus.
Yeah, what the fuck? So like have that mentality that people are there to get something diagnosed and solved. They're not just there because they're bored.
Yeah, exactly. And when you walk into sales calls with the intention of, hey, I'm going to be useful and I'm going to help someone, that's how you're going to get the most value out of that sales call. If you go in under the premise that, oh yeah, we're just going to get to know each other and then you're just going to fucking lengthen your sales cycle by a factor of at least 2. At the best.
No one's just going to give you $5,000 a month because you're cool. That's not how it works.
He was just such a nice guy. I just decided to pay him. No.
Like business is an exchange. They're giving you money to get a desired result and a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
Making sure that you clearly define and understand what that problem is, and then
way
giving
more important.
a very defined solution. That's what's going to necessitate the exchange of dinero.
Yeah. exactly that. I think the big consideration with rapport building, especially like with people who are not, I'm not going to say not used to sales, with people that aren't 100% comfortable with the fact that sales is, you know, not particularly easy at the start.
Yeah.
They feel like, well, if I can just make a really good impression, then people are going to respect me and I'm going to come across as like not a salesperson.
Yeah.
But anyone who's been on any of these calls more than 10 times knows that like if you sit and fucking chat shit for like a solid 10 minutes at the start of a call, you come across as a salesperson. That's exactly like they know you don't care. You know that you don't care, and you're not good enough of an actor to pull off not caring in a way that makes them think that you care. So just skip the whole thing. Just don't fucking bother.
Yeah, and if you want to be respected, it's because you're an expert and you value your time and you know what you're doing. That's going to get the instant respect. Not the, hey, I found out his hobbies and interests. Like,
oh, John, we also went to the same college. Yeah, I went there 30 years before you. Why are you telling me this?
Yeah,
Shut
I never
up.
went to class. Like, what's your point?
I actually had someone say that on a call recording that I watched, and they were like, oh yeah, I fucking hated that place. And this person on the other end just went, yeah, me too. Fuck. You just see them internally panic, right? It's like, don't bother to ask them where they live. Oh, cool. I have family there. End. Next. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like where are you based out of? That's a very standard like opener, right?
Yeah, that is the same one I use every single time.
Yeah, where are you based out of?
Yeah, where are you calling from? Oh,
nice.
sick.
Yeah. Awesome, cool. So then now on business as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and don't ask questions that you don't know the answer to, because it increases like variables in your conversation. Like that exact situation, you're hoping for a positive answer, and maybe the person's like, "Yeah, I'm having a terrible fucking day."
Yeah.
Like, how you overcoming that one, dude? Like, you just literally just threw a fork in your whole process.
Yeah. I actually spoke to someone who is, to his credit, fantastic at sales, and he says he does that as a pattern interrupt. So he'll ask, oh yeah, like, how's your day going? And inevitably they will then return that favor. And he goes, honestly, terribly. And then gives them some bullshit answer. And apparently it's like the funniest thing to watch them either flounder and he takes frame, or they go, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then they get chatting and then it's just like a very different intro to the standard. Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. So like, sure, but like, we just don't do it. Like, most people are just not savvy enough to pull that off.
I actually kind of like that. I'm going to steal that.
Oh, dear. Okay, so it kind of leads us into the next part, right? Not having a framework to follow. If you're just out here raw dogging sales calls, listen, if you're doing it and you're closing at like 40%, fair fucks to you. Genuinely, fair enough. That's actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
Two things. One, raise your prices. Three, learn sales. You'll close it at the same rate for more money. Sick. But by and large, most people cannot get away with not using a framework. Not a script. Neither of us are advocates for regimented scripts. However, do you need a framework of stuff that you need to actually get through? Do you need guidelines and kind of generalized signposts towards an end destination? Yes.
100%. And like, it's something that you can, I use it like to fall back on. Because like, obviously it's a conversation, right?
Yeah.
A lot of different variables, things can go longer than expected. And like, that's why a framework works so well, is because you can just be like, oh, all right, let's reel it back in a little bit here. This is the framework, this is the process that I follow that's been proven and I'm comfortable and confident with. Because if you're like you said, like trail post markers, if you're on a trailhead and you make a wrong turn, you're like, ah, shit, like, where the fuck am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Everything's out of your head. Now you're overthinking things. So like, being able to follow a path roughly is going to help you close more deals, book more meetings, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest caveat, I think, for people who, there's one guy I know who just does terribly. Like, he really wants a script. He wants a list of questions that he wants to ask, and he has to go through them. And he's like, yeah, but then what happens in this situation? I'm like, I'm not going to give you the answer because you're going to try and put it in the fucking script. And we already know that scripts don't work. Stop using a script.
Yeah.
And it's just how he wants to learn sales. And it's so difficult to do that effectively, right? You just need to be able to actually talk to the person and not be a robot, and then say, oh, actually, you know what? I know that I need to find out X thing. How do I get to that answer?
In a conversation.
In a conversation, right? And if that involves you literally sitting for an hour by yourself and mapping out 100 questions that are going to get you there,
Do that.
do that. I don't care. But don't try and do it as a script, because all you're going to do is get really surface level answers. And you're going to go, okay, cool, they answered that, and then move on. And then you just get bullshit discovery.
Yeah, same analogy I'll use. ER doctor. Like, say this hurts. You're like, all right, cool, surgery. No, they need to ask other questions to gain better understanding to diagnose you properly.
Yeah.
So, like, once you ask that surface level question, awesome. Don't jump on to the next because it's in the script.
Yeah.
Like, dig deeper into that. That might be the reason they buy, right? Not the next question that you're supposed to ask.
Yeah.
Like, it is a conversation. It's supposed to be fluid. Yeah. And the best salespeople are people who can think on their feet, and they have a process and a framework, like you said. At the end of this call, I need to get this information. However it happens, it's going to happen naturally and fluidly. But at the end of the call, I'm going to get the information I need. They're going to get the information that they want. Sales.
Yeah, precisely. And I think people make that rookie error of not thinking about it like, hey, I need to get to this destination versus I need to do all of these things. And as soon as you think about it in that mindset, you just set yourself up to fuck up more calls than you actually run properly. Or, worst case scenario, you just get lazy. And then the calls that don't follow the exact script that you're used to, you don't close. And you're like, oh, well, I guess that just wasn't going to close. And the calls that do follow the script exactly as it's designed, you do close. And you're like, wow, I'm doing such a great job. I'm following the script, right? And I think it's just...
validation.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I think it's even more damaging when whoever's running that offer, whether it's, whether it's a sales manager or a sales director or even like the actual business owner, the guys who are creating this script are going to be causing potentially more problems than anything else, because you're then causing this problem. And then when they don't close the calls and they followed the script, you're like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't have an answer because you've made them do the thing and it's not worked.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's my little rant about offer owners, because I'm fucking dealing with that.
There you go. All right, the next one you wrote down was dumb partner objections.
Oh my God. There are actually multiple bearded sales gurus that aren't us that have put out methods to handle the partner objection that are so fucking stupid. Oh my God. If you try and run this shit in a B2B environment, you'll get laughed out of the room.
Tell me.
Okay, Dylan, come to me with a partner objection. These are all examples of do not do any of this shit ever again.
Yeah, I mean, this all sounds great, but I kind of got to talk to my wife about it.
But like, she's not going to be angry if you make this decision, right?
You don't know my wife.
Yeah, but like, she wants you to, develop and grow the business and do the things that you want to. Like, she'd support you, wouldn't she?
I'd hope.
Right. So like, realistically, if you do make this investment, like, she's probably not going to chew you out so badly. Well,
we share a bank account.
Right. But like, you mentioned that your wife was a stay-at-home mom and you're the one that is the breadwinner. So is it not fair to say that you could, invest out of that bank account and that would be a good thing for the family?
Yeah, I make it, she spends it.
Right. Where the fuck are you going now? There's just no way of you coming back from this. This is stupid. Okay? That's option one of just being like, nah, but like, you could just do it. Like, she's not going to care. Don't fucking do that. It's so stupid. No one in their right mind is actually going to go, you know what? You're right. I can do this. Let me go and spend whatever the hell it is you're asking me to. No. Don't do that. All right. Next one.
Are we going to provide a solution or?
Oh, I mean, I was just going to shout about it for the next 10 minutes, but all
right.
right.
You got to invest in David's course.
Yeah, exactly. We show you how to do this. I'm not going to fucking throw this out for free. Bite me. I already actually did that on a different podcast. I already did it. So if you want to go and trawl through all the podcasts I've ever been on to go and find it, be my guest.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, but there's a little.
Next thing that I wrote down is practicing the wrong things. So back to the scripts, back to frameworks, back to questions, back to dumb partner objections, back to rapport building.
Yeah.
Like habits can be good or bad. It's up to you to decide what your habits are, right? So you need to practicing good habits that are helping, not hurting your process. So if you're spending all your time practicing partner objections, what you really should be practicing on is creating a better framework to better understand and identify and get ahead of an objection in your question asking and your diagnosing part of the call, so that doesn't even happen.
Yep.
You're practicing and you're focusing all your time and energy on bad negative things. Yep. And if you actually created a framework and process that would talk to those types of things before it came in their head, you're going to be much better off. So like making sure that what you're doing and the way you're sharpening your sword is actually making it sharp and you're not dulling the blade.
Yeah. People spend way too much time trying to learn to handle objections and doing fucking Olympic level gymnastics to get their way out of it, instead of just making them not happen in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So like, stop fucking working on the wrong shit. It's a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, you do not need like fucking verbal Aikido at the end of a sales call in the last 5 minutes to get someone to actually spend the money when they've decided in their own head that they don't want to. Like, you're just wasting your own fucking time.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a big analogy guy if you haven't fucking figured it out on episode.
What?
Yeah, big analogy guy.
No way.
Like, you have a check engine light, you don't drive it till the fucking car breaks. You go and get it fucking diagnosed. Like,
oh, I know some people that do that.
Yeah, but it's like, practice the correct things. And if you don't know what the correct things are, seek help.
Yes.
So you don't create bad habits. I keep doing this and it's not working. Well, it's probably because this fucking doesn't work.
Probably because it's fucking stupid and you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but I watched this guy on TikTok and he said to do it, so I did it, and then I didn't close any deals.
Yeah, and like, things work for others that may not work for you, right? Like, David's style and my style are different, but they both work because it's comfortable to us. So like, practice not only the good things, but practice things that you're confident and comfortable in executing. And that gets us, we already talked about the script. The other thing that I can't stand, and I come from a tech sales background, which this doesn't really happen in, B2C or high ticket, but like using a slide or a pitch deck of static images on a screen share. What the fuck are you doing? You just spent time, money, time, and energy getting this person interested in your product. You have dedicated 30 to 45 to 60 minutes of your entire day to do this call. This person has also set aside that time. There's an inherent need, and what are you going to do? You're going to screen share? This is our company mission statement. This is our thing. This is who we're funded by. No one gives a fuck. Like, get down to brass tacks. Talk about problems and solutions. And like, using a slide deck, people are visual learners. They're going to be visualized on the image, not what you're saying. They're like, this is like a fucking high school presentation. I'm gonna go on my phone. I'm gonna go on Slack. I'm gonna check my email. Immediately, everyone goes off video. Yeah, and like it's worse than a script. It's like showing them your script. I think that's the biggest, like, that's another form of a script, right? So you end up in this annoying situation where you feel like, because the slides are laid out in a specific way, that you have to then go through the slides. When in reality, if you wanted to use a slide deck properly, you jump about through all different slides. You localize based on the stuff that you find out in Discovery, and you're like, okay, so you mentioned that blah, 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 blah.
here's this, and it's on slide fucking 17. And then actually, it relates to something that they said earlier, and that's on slide 12. You do not know your slide deck well enough to do that, number one. Number two, you probably don't have the fucking technical expertise to do that effectively without looking like a dork.
Yeah.
So you
but
just
to your
don't...
point,
Yeah.
if there is something in your slide deck, this is a caveat, and you have a slide that could easily clarify and prove the point, pull up just that slide. Like, oh, it's funny you said that, Mr. Prospect. Boom. This is exactly what you were looking to get. All right, cool. And then stop screen sharing. Like, show them what they need to see, move on your merry way in the conversation. And I think a big thing about slide decks is they're created not by salespeople. They're created by marketing. So it's going to be a bunch of shit that talks about the company and how cool you are and how you're fucking got all these awards and like no one gives a fuck. So like that's our last point that we have here today is like stop focusing on you and the business.
Yeah.
Focus on them. People buy selfishly.
Yes.
Right? Why do I look at golf clubs all the time? Because I want new golf clubs, right? It's like I'm buying shit for me or the business. Because
I feel like you have too many golf clubs.
We only can have a certain number of golf clubs. You just upgrade your golf clubs.
But like that's actually a surprisingly a really good analogy. Not surprisingly because it's anyway. I think that most people get into the annoying habit, especially when they have information or resources in front of them, feeling compelled that they have to use them because otherwise they're not doing what they're meant to be doing. When in reality, every prospect is going to differ, right? So for example, you put a slide deck in front of me, I'm going to do exactly what you said. I'm going to ignore everything that comes out of your mouth because I can read faster than you can talk. Yep. And more often than not, I'm probably bored by you talking anyway. So if I can just get through and be like, cool, I know everything I need to know, and then zone out for another 30 seconds and then zone back in when you switch slides, yeah, I'm going to do that.
So what's the price?
Cool. Yeah, I got everything I needed. How much is this? Oh, okay, cool. I'll get back to you. Done. Why would I? Why would I sit and listen to you? Because now I have to listen to you drone on. You've probably never been taught how to do a proper presentation, so you're most likely reading off the slides.
Or the notes that you wrote, which is like the double whammy. So not only do they have a visual of the slides, but then you also have talking points that you also have to scroll through because everything on PowerPoint is this big.
It's just a nightmare from start to finish, man. Just don't do it. The most humbling thing for me. So I was working with a client and they were getting really pissed off, but they went to some fucking like sales conference or some shit, and they came back with a slide deck and they gave it to the closer and they were like, use this, and it contradicts everything that I say. And I was like, look, dude, I'm not your sales manager. I'm the coach. This is outside of my purview. If they want you to use it, use it. It's not my problem. Whatever. Fine. Used it. Still didn't close any sales. And then I don't know why this happened for the life of me, right? But for some reason there were calls that the closer couldn't take. So the person whose like program it was got their mum to come in and close the calls, and this woman closed 4 for 4 just reading off the slide deck. I was like, no, I'm out, fuck this, clearly I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm out, I'm not doing this anymore. And it was like the only time I've ever seen it work, but it's because she had no idea what she was doing. She was reading out the slides and then she would intersperse it with things like, oh yeah, and I'm this person's mum, and it was like, well, okay, you win based on frame, not the slide deck, but it looks like the slide deck's doing all the work, so fuck me, I guess.
I mean, it comes down to execution.
Yeah, so anyway, to come back on topic.
So those are all the methods that you shouldn't be using.
Basically just invert all of the stuff that we just told you and you'll be good at sales. It's as simple as that.
So stop being a cuck on the beginning of the call.
Yeah.
Create a framework that you could fall back on that gets you to your desired result and the prospect's desired result.
Not a script.
Not a script.
Don't say dumb shit when they give you a partner objection. That is stupid. Or any objection.
Avoid objections at all costs.
Yeah.
Practice the right things.
Yeah.
Stop talking about yourself.
Yeah. And don't use slide decks.
For the love of God, don't use a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Unless it's your mom.
Yeah. Unless your mom's closing deals, then give her a slide deck.
Yeah. I don't think my mom would be very good at closing.
I think my mom would be terrible at closing. I love her dearly, but she is not built for sales. Me? I thought you were talking to me. I was like, what? Yeah, my mum would definitely say that.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I think you should just get it. Like, this it just makes sense.
Yeah, I think my son gets like $2,000 if you pay us.
Oh dear, that's a good point as any to end.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, guys. Well, we'll see you in episode 20 next.
Alrighty. Peace.